3 ways to fix America. Because when I think about all the problems facing America, and I think about who do we want to put in charge of solving it, I think of intellectual juggernaut, David Joshua Rubin. All right, let's take a look.
Something ain't right, and we all know it.
Yes.
Are we just going to give up on the greatest country in the history of the world? Or are we going to fight for freedom and a thriving future?
We already gave up on the Ottoman Empire. R.I.P. in peace to a real one. I'm sorry. Inshallah, my brother.
They always tell us that we're at a once-in-a-lifetime pivotal moment.
Well, technically, actually, wouldn't every moment in your life be a once-in-a-lifetime moment?
But this time, they're actually right.
Okay.
You know it, I know it, you know that I know that you know it, and they know we all know it.
And I know I'm not impressed.
So what are we going to do about it? Well, I've got a few ideas. First off,
okay. You know what? Let's hear it.
Individualist. The American Heritage Dictionary defines an individualist as one that asserts individuality by independence of thought and action. If that sounds self-centered, it is. But why is that bad?
This sounds pretty stupid.
Everything in your life starts with you, your attitude, how you project yourself to the world, whether you take responsibility for your own actions. The founders of America sought to create a government whose primary purpose was to protect the freedom of the individual.
So wait a minute here. Your definition here, one that asserts individuality by independence of thought and action, that's got nothing to do with taking responsibility for your own actions. Why does his voice sound like that? I don't know.
To the world, whether you take responsibility for your own actions.
I don't know.
The founders of America sought to create a government whose primary purpose was to protect the freedom of the individual. After that, as far as George, Ben, and Tom were concerned, you were on your own.
As far as they were concerned, you were on your own? I don't even know how to respond to that. Let's go.
You were on your own. Nobody saw this more clearly than the 19th century French writer Alexis de Tocqueville. He came to America to see what all the commotion was about and was—
No, wait, I'm sorry. What? Who the fuck is this? No shot Dave Rubin even knows who the fuck this guy is. He like Googled it or something. Oh, I figured it out. Alexis de Tocqueville, French aristocrat, diplomat, political scientist, right? Okay. And right here, Tocqueville was a classical liberal. So Dave Rubin just fucking Googled classical liberal, and this guy came up, didn't he? Let's see here. Classical liberalism. Is Alexis here? Yes, would you look at that? He is. Notable thinkers. Yep. I'm assuming that's what Dave Rubin did, because I can't imagine him actually being knowledgeable on history.
He came to America to see what all the commotion was about and was absolutely blown away. This new American democracy, what he called the equality of conditions, was not merely a new way to govern, he realized, but a new way to live. For de Tocqueville, American individualism was not about being self-centered, but about being self-reliant.
Tocqueville visited America to study democracy in May 1831. Slavery was abolished in 1865, 33 years later after Tocqueville's visit. What was the quote again?
This new American democracy, what he called the equality of conditions.
That's a little interesting. Dave Rubin would talk about Tocqueville and the equality of conditions, you know, during slavery.
Was not merely a new way to govern, he realized, but a new way to live. For de Tocqueville, American individualism was not about being self-centered, but about being self-reliant.
On your slaves. I mean, like literally half of the at the time, half of the country was like literally operating on slave labor. His Wikipedia page says he's just outright pro-colonialism. Where does it say that on the Wikipedia page? Oh God, wait, there's some sections here. On policies of assimilation, on slavery, blacks and Indians. Oh boy, that sounds interesting. Though a supporter of colonialism, he could clearly perceive the evils that black people and natives have been subjected to in the United States. Oh, that's interesting. That sounds like Dave Rubin's just ignoring this. The first to attract the eye, the first in enlightenment, in power and in happiness is the white man, the European man par excellence. Below him appear the Negro and the Indian. These two unfortunate races have neither birth, nor face, nor language, nor mores in commons. Only their misfortunes look alike. Both occupy an equally inferior position in the country that they inhabit. Both experience the effects of tyranny, and if their miseries are different, they can accuse the same author for them. Holy shit, holy based. I gotta admit, this is already much better than I was expecting from the guy. While this guy's clearly not like a pro supporter of slavery, it is interesting that Dave Rubin is talking about him in a way that I'm going to assume doesn't address the rest of this. Oh wow. Tocqueville concluded the return of the black population to Africa could not resolve the problem, as he writes in the end of Democracy in America. If the colony of Liberia were to receive thousands of new inhabitants every year, and if the Negroes were in a state to be sent to either their advantage, if the Union were to supply the society with annual subsidies and to transport them to Africa on government vessels, it would still be unable to counterpoise the natural increase of population among the blacks, as it could not remove as many men in a year as are born upon its territory within that time. It could not prevent the growth of evil, which is daily increasing in the States. Oh my god, this guy's pretty cool. It will never leave the shores of the American continent to which it was brought by passions of vices and Europeans, and it will not disappear from the world. Wait. The Negro race will never leave these shores of the American continent to which it was brought by the passions and vices of the Europeans, and it will not disappear from the New World as long as it continues to exist. The inhabitants of the United States may retard the calamities in which they apprehend, but they cannot now destroy their efficient cause. Oh, this one's good. I do not think it is for me, a foreigner, to indicate to the United States the time, the measures, or the men by whom slavery shall be abolished. Still, the persevering enemy of despotism everywhere and under all its forms. Still is the persevering enemy of despotism everywhere and under all its forms. I am pained and astonished by the fact that the freest people in the world is, at the present time, almost the only one among civilized and Christian nations which yet maintains personal servitude. And while this serfdom is about disappearing, where it has not already disappeared from the most degraded nations of Europe. I think we got what we came here for from that. So, why is Rubin mentioning Tocqueville? I don't know.
Government can't guarantee your happiness, but it should guarantee your right to pursue it. This is the only way to make progress on a national level and still be authentically inclusive.
He sounds smart, that's why. Yeah, I don't see the reason for bringing up Tocqueville at all. It would have sounded a lot more cool if you talked about some of those slavery quotes, Dave, but I'm willing to bet he probably didn't read them. If you've seen the other video that I've made where I cover his book, there are parts of it where it seems like even he didn't read his own book. So, I have an easy time believing he didn't read the Wikipedia page for Tocqueville.
This is the only way to make progress on a national level and still be authentically inclusive. Because where true freedom exists, there will be individualism. And where individualism exists, there will be true freedom.
This sounds like it's said by like a 7th grader. He looks so proud of himself.
But being an individualist is just the start. You must also be a family.
So what do I do to be an individualist? He didn't really tell me that. A person who's independent and self-reliant? I don't know, Dave. I was kind of hoping for like a policy prescription. That's not really an answer. That's a good face, though.
There are lots of ways to measure the strength of a society, but family has to be at the top of the list.
Oh boy, here we go.
This hit me very deeply one night during Jordan Peterson's worldwide lecture tour in 2019, which I hosted.
Well, let's get Jordan Peterson's book out now. Why not? Add it to the pile.
Jordan and I were leaving the theater after our show in Dublin, Ireland. Two men ran towards us, wiping
Two men ran towards us. One of them was screaming, "Allah Akbar!" And who were they? They were from the Ottoman Empire. They're back to save The greatest nation in the world. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Like, if I'm like, you know, leaving a venue or something, and 2 Jordan Peterson fans come running up to me, I'm probably going to die. Wait, there's a clip for this.
Somebody's going to die tonight.
Yes. 2 Jordan Peterson fans run up to you. Run.
On their own personal timelines, they had both bought Jordan's book, 12 Rules for Life, and began fixing up their lives.
I don't believe it. This story sounds so fantastical. Here's another hardcore hard truth bomb, all right? 12 Rules for Life. I've given like a glancing look through a lot of it. I haven't done a full deep analysis of it yet. I haven't taken a whole bunch of notes quite like I have with with Dave Rubin's book. But from what I've seen, I don't think this is like a I genuinely don't think this is like a I'm gonna get some world knowledge and fix my life. I don't see how people can do that out of a book like this. I don't know, there's some neat stuff in here, but I really don't think this is something that can actually change your life kind of book. Eventually I'll probably read the book and we'll do a video talking about it. Now I feel like the actual answer is you had the capability in you all along to improve your life, and you were probably going to do it one way or the other. It just so happened that you did it after you're reading a Jordan Peterson book. He didn't really do it. You probably would have had the same result either way. Read a New York Times best-selling book and now you're thinking, hey shit, that's what helped it got it together. No, that's not what got your life together. It was Satan.
Separately, they had attended the show.
That also sounds like such a scam artist move to tell a story like this.
As thousands of people exited the theater, they saw each other in the crowd, and right then and there, after so much time and so much heartache, they embraced and made amends. The family bond was restored.
And how many other stories go like that, and it's like, yeah, these two had a huge falling out. It's been 5 years since they've seen each other. They saw each other in the lobby of the venue, and they stabbed each other to death. That might happen more often, actually.
So how important is family? According to a 2019 American Enterprise Institute survey, which asked participants to rank attributes of the American dream, a good family life ranked number 2, right behind freedom of choice.
Right behind freedom of choice. Freedom of choice for what? Something that goes with this, though. You know, I wish I had the finances to make a family. Now, wait a second. 2019 American Enterprise Institute survey. Let me see if there's anything on the PragerU website for this. The American dream is alive and well. I'm pleased to report the American dream is alive and well for an overwhelming majority of Americans. Insane clown shit. And page cannot be found. If I can't find the actual fucking survey, then your claims are kind of useless. Because when I Google it, I don't see the actual survey here. Survey on community and society, societal capital, civic health. Well, let's take a look. No shot I'm gonna find this. Oh shit, I found it. That's right, baby. I used to work at a library. I know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, this looks promising. This should have been the first fucking link. PragerU, Dave, David, Mr. Rubin. Family. Here we go. All right, this is figure 22. So to have a good family life is number 2 as essential to the American dream, but I feel like this could be controlled in a certain way. Oh wait, wow. I'm gonna say this survey is done poorly, but it seems like whoever wrote it knew what they were doing, which is interesting. So figure 22. Essential components of the American dream. Question, and here's the exact text of the question, which is awesome. I love it when surveys do that, because sometimes they don't tell you the exact text of the question, and it's like, well, this is not really useful for other people trying to replicate it. Okay, question. Below are some ways people think about the American dream. Rate how important each is to your own view of the American dream. And they only have a select responses that are already given. It's not like, what do you think is important to the American dream, and it's an open-ended question. They already have these selected curated responses, and you have to rate them as to how important they are. Wow, that kind of kills it. To have freedom of choice in how to live one's life. I think that would be important to the American dream. and then to have a good family life, retire comfortably, own a home, have a successful career, have a better quality of life than your parents, to make valuable contributions to your community, to become wealthy. Now, there's not be financially stable, be healthy, have your basic needs met. These are not options here, are they? Because I'm willing to bet if you ask most people, that's what they're going to say if it's an open-ended question. Notice that they're not here. That's right. This is why we show our sources. All right, so is it gonna tell me how many people did this? Because I'm curious. Do we have a methodology section? Okay, they collaborated with National Opinion Research Center at the University of Chicago to execute the survey. 2,411 completed interviews. Okay, not bad. Fun lesson in statistics. When you control the answers like that, you're not necessarily getting what people want to say, which sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes it's important to keep it in mind. It can vary depending on the study you're doing and what you're trying to get, what you're trying to figure out. Well, how did he describe it?
According to a 2019 American Enterprise Institute survey, which asked participants to rank attributes of the American dream, a good family life ranked number 2, right behind freedom of choice.
So this is a good statistics lesson. Yeah, this is heavily narrativized. Exactly. He just said this is how they were ranked. He neglected to mention the fact that there were only specific options, and these were not what people immediately went to when they responded. Kind of an important factor. You don't get this kind of hard level facts research from a Dave Rubin stream. You don't get that from his content. That's right. Only Mr. Attack is on the data attack. I took statistics in college. I remember some of it.
It's no surprise. It's within the nurturing bonds of family we learn to deal with the world.
I'd argue you learn to deal with the world through interacting with the world. That's why it's important to go to social events and stuff when you're young and to be socialized and interact with other people. And yeah, go to school, go to public schooling. Private schooling socializes you too.
Once you have your head screwed on straight and you've made things right with your family, then you're ready to move on to the next level of real social improvement.
Well, hold on. He didn't really get into this, but I don't have friends. I have family. So he didn't talk anything about getting your head screwed on straight. He didn't talk anything about setting things right with your family. Okay, and the example he gave is kind of condescending. Here's a hot take, though. For a lot of people, their families fucking suck. Some people have it better than others. You don't really realize how bad it can get for some people. Sometimes the best thing you gotta do to be a better person is cut out your family. You know, just gotta cut them out.
Be a community. There are all kinds of communities. It's your church or your synagogue.
How can you be an individualist if you care about the community, Dave? I think you talked about this in your book. No, it was the other video. It was that video he did where he talked about being a classical liberal.
There are all kinds of communities. It's your church or your synagogue. It's your neighbors. It's the girls you meet for brunch or the guys you play basketball with.
What about the guys I meet for brunch and the girls I play basketball with? I know this one girl, she's just really good at basketball. Holly Berry. It's this one. What is a classical liberal? Why am I getting Ring commercials? I'm not gonna fucking marry anyone. I think it's this part.
Putting the individual above the group not only empowers you to live your life as you see fit, but it also neutralizes the forces of racism and bigotry, which judge people not on their individuality, but on their immutable group characteristics, be it color of skin, gender, or sexuality.
I mean, this kind of sounds like this is what he's talking about here, though. Only now it's good.
It's the group of people that know you and care about you, and you care about them.
Oh, wow. Got him.
Next to breathing and maybe a couple other things, I don't know what's more essential than that. When George Bailey's brother toasts George at the end of the classic movie It's a Wonderful Life to the richest man in town, we know exactly what he's talking about. George's community. Are you catching the theme here?
He has to cite movies because he doesn't know any other way to do it.
When individuals are healthier, the family is healthier, and in turn, so is society.
How does that follow?
When individuals are healthier, the family is healthier, and in turn, so is society.
So does he support Medicare for all now? He used to. He doesn't anymore.
It's obvious. We know it. Which is why those on the left oppose all of it.
Wow. Got him. Great job, Dave. So not only did he not connect these together, how does a healthy individual lead to a healthy family, which leads to a healthy society? No, citing It's a Wonderful Life isn't an answer. You got to do a little bit more to do that.
It's obvious. We know it. Which is why those on the left oppose
appeal to common sense.
All of it. Every piece.
And then he says people on the left oppose all of it. How the fuck does that follow?
They despise the free-thinking individual. They denigrate the family, and they have no true understanding of community. For the left, your identity group, your skin color, your sexual preference, determines who you are and how you think.
But Dave, those are their communities. Why are you denigrating their communities? Who you are and how you think? Have you been to any communities that are like so-called on the left? People don't get along with each other.
Defy this identity at your peril. If you're black and you're conservative, well, as one elderly gentleman put it, you ain't black.
You ain't black, Jack. That's funny, but that's like not an actual argument though, Dave.
If you're black and you're conservative, well, as one elderly gentleman put it, you ain't black.
So what he's implying here, and what the animation implies, if you're black and conservative, then the rest of the black community is not going to be a fan of you. Which, is true, because fuck you! That's not because you're a black conservative, it's because you're a conservative, and the rest of the black community, doesn't like you because you're going along with the racist conservatives. Kind of straightforward. As we know, Joe Biden controls the membership list of the blacks. This is true.
Before they scrubbed it from their website, Black Lives Matter bragged that they were all about deconstructing the nuclear family.
I don't even know what the story of this was. I just remember hearing conservatives talk about it. I should actually like look it up. BLM site removes page on nuclear family structure amid NFL vets criticism. So what I think most likely thing is I think, it takes a village. The idea of having one man and one woman and then kids underneath them is really kind of a limited view of how to view a family. And really, families should be a lot larger than that. That's how I would interpret it. That's like the most charitable way. But I don't know. It could just be some wacko crazy person wrote it, and no one else no one else who ran the website caught it. Okay, the actual quote: "We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable," the website formally read. Dave, that's exactly what you're arguing for in the video. You fucking idiot. You didn't even read the quote. Oh my god, he's so stupid. The page, which is no longer available Thursday, also said BLM aimed to dismantle the patriarchal practice that leads to mothers having to work double shifts to make ends meet. Based. I love it. A central tenet of Marxism is the dismantling of the nuclear family structure. What the fuck is this article talking about? I have no idea. This is a weird article. All right, let's move on, shall we?
Before they scrubbed it from their website.
No, but also based. Yeah, what the fuck? I've never heard the interpretation that Marxism is about destroying the nuclear family. That's a new one.
Black Lives Matter bragged that they were all about deconstructing the nuclear family. Mom, dad, and the kids. As for community, it's...
And he doesn't even acknowledge it. He doesn't give the exact quote. He just says they're deconstructing the nuclear family. He doesn't explain the context, doesn't explain the exact quote, just says, mom, dad, and the kids. I like talking about ideas.
As for community, it's too independent and too traditional.
Yeah, literally the quote he was decrying a moment ago talked about the importance of a community raising a child instead of just the parents and the parents having to work all the time. But God,
the left demands that you be part of the collective, a hive mind where everyone thinks the same. Anyone outside the hive mind must be shouted down, harassed, or canceled.
Cancelled, yes. Has it occurred to you, though, that, I don't know, some people just suck?
Is that the world you want to be part of?
Sure.
How about this instead?
Yes.
Or canceled?
Hold on.
Anyone outside the hive mind must be shouted down, harassed, or canceled.
You know, we used to, take non-Christians and put them to the sword, Dave. We used to take Jewish people and forcibly convert them to Christianity, Dave. We used to take people who were, I don't know, not proper Christians and burn them at the stake for witchcraft, Dave. These weren't leftists. What we have now is infinitely better.
Is that the world you want to be part of?
Yes.
How about this instead? Be an individualist. Be a member of a family. Be part of a community.
Can you be part of a community and be an individualist, Dave? Because your classical liberalism video gives the opposite conclusion. I know, expecting him to be consistent is like asking way too much for him. I'm asking you, the viewer.
You know what that sounds like to me? America.
Okay.
I'm Dave Rubin, author of Don't Burn This Country for Prager University.
That was some bullshit. There wasn't anything I could do in my daily life. Take care of my family, take care of myself, I do that shit, Dave. That's not enough. That's not getting the plastic out of my fucking bloodstream. That's not fucking stopping the record level monsoons and dust storms we're getting every fucking day. That's not stopping the droughts. That's not stopping the divide, the political divide. That's not stopping income inequality. None of this shit is fucking helping anybody. People... hair in my mouth. I'm not getting the hair out of my mouth either. People literally die on the streets because they can't get their fucking insulin. But that's okay. I'm an individualist. God, he's worse than worthless. Hi, editing attack here. Quick final note before we finish this. As I was editing the video, I just kind of realized pretty much all of these points and everything he was saying, he's just copying from Jordan Peterson.
So, if you're upset about your culture, well, maybe you could think of some small ways that are local that you could go out and improve it. I think you should start with yourself. Because, well, then you're only harming yourself and you're not a bad person to practice on. And then you could extend that to your family. Well, at least you suffer for the consequences of your own experiments that way, rather than having someone else do it. And then maybe you can work on bringing a little more harmony into your family. And maybe you can get a job and see if you're any good at that. And then if you manage those three things halfways respectably, well then you could dare to put a toehold out into the broader community and think, maybe I have an idea here that we could tentatively attempt that might make some small thing slightly better that we could measure carefully and assess.
I haven't actually read the book yet, but wouldn't surprise me if that's what Rubin did here.
As you were saying that, I was thinking, this is exactly what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is.
I don't think this right-wing gay grifter thing can last much longer, but that's okay because David is already basically a circus clown. He'll just go join the real circus. I would like to thank last month's patron backers: ASU Asian Woman, Benjamin Kessler, Boris Lowe, Dios, Ian Diaby, Here Comes the Rat, James Paul, Joy Palamo, Lionel, Mellow Cheddar, and Xylorb.